Starting off at the Hawthorns then on Friday night, where West Brom take on Coventry. Now obviously both of these sides are pushing for the playoffs. West Brom have had the slightly better season in terms of what I expected of them, but they've been in a bit of a poor run of form. Obviously Coventry have got that midweek game against Maidstone to contend with, and after what Maidstone did against Ipswich, they're not going to be able to take them lightly. Obviously it's a huge game for the club as well. A 5th round in the FA Cup should never be overlooked, and obviously it's going to impact their fitness going into the weekend's game, but I think that it's going to be a very even one. So even the fact we're with a 1-1 draw here, and I think Coventry will be the happier of the two sides with this result. Over to Ashton Gate now, where Bristol City host Cardiff. Obviously both sides have been in a mixed bag of form recently. Bristol City slightly better than Cardiff, so I'm going to go with a home win, a narrow home win though, as obviously Cardiff can turn up and do a job on their day. But like I said, I'm going to go with a narrow 2-1 win to Bristol City. I think they'll be very happy with all 3 points here. Now over to the John Smith Stadium, where Huddersfield take on a very much in-form Leeds. Now Huddersfield have been in decent form themselves, but there's no competing with Leeds. Obviously, they've been so good this season, and they are where they are for a reason. I think they're going to continue that way. Obviously, got a bit fortunate last time out against Leicester, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time. I put them to win this game very professionally and very comfortably. I'm going with a 2-0 away win for Leeds, which I think they'll be very pleased with. Over to St Andrews next, where Birmingham take on an out-of-form Southampton. After 3 losses out of the last 4, Southampton are looking a little bit worse for wear. Obviously, Birmingham have seen a little bit of an increase in form since Rooney's departure, but still nowhere near the side they were at the start of the season. But I do think it's going to be a very hotly contested game, especially at St Andrews. I think Birmingham will have an edge, but I just don't think it's going to be enough for them to get anything out of this game. I'm going to go with a narrow 1-0 win to the visitors. Now, over to the King Power, where Leicester City, obviously they're top of the league for a reason, but they've been slightly out of form, whereas QPR have been the complete opposite. They're right down the table, but have picked up some really valuable points in the last few weeks. However, I just don't think they're going to have enough. Leicester City are such a good side. You know, like I said, they are where they are for a reason. They're going to bounce back. They need to bounce back, and this is the perfect game for them to do it in. So I think they're going to be very dominant. I think they're going to win this game fairly comfortably. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to the home side. Over to the Den now, where new manager Bowers is in full effect, but I think that's going to come to a bit of a halt on Saturday's game, where I just think Watford are going to come to the Den and sit in, not look to try and score a goal and get their reward for that in terms of getting a nice 0-0 draw for them. I think that'll definitely suit them. Like I say, they've done it a couple of times this season. They've been really rigid and held off teams like Southampton in the Cup. I think they're going to do it again here. I think Millwall will have the better chances, and definitely if I was to pick a winner, it would be them. But I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. Over to Carrow Road, where in recent times Norwich have picked up their form, as opposed to Sunderland, who have gone really far down in their form and really dropped off over the last couple of weeks. I think that's going to continue. I think Norwich are at home. They're going to put on a decent display and win the game ultimately. I think it's going to be a very narrow win for them, but I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to the home side. Over to Home Park now, where Plymouth take on Ipswich. Obviously, Plymouth getting a very positive result last time out. Ipswich seem to have rebounded back to their old winning ways again. I think it's going to continue on Saturday. I think they're going to edge out a result, because Plymouth, they're no side that you can just go over there and absolutely smash them and take all 3 points. They're going to put up a fight, because they're a very good side, especially at home. But I think Ipswich are going to have too much for them, so I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win for Ipswich. Over to Deepdale now, where 2 very much informed clubs are facing off against each other. Preston versus Hull, and it's going to be very tight. It could go either way. I'm predicting a very entertaining game, but it will be a score draw. I can't see either side managing to better the other, so I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, but again, it could be anyone's game. Okay, on to Rotherham versus Sheffield Wednesday now, and Rotherham have been on a terrible run. I don't know why. I think it's going to change around, because at some point streaks have to come to an end. I think this is the game they do it. Despite Sheffield Wednesday having an increase in form, I just see parts of that team that I don't really like. Whereas Rotherham, you know what I mean, they have to get a win at some point. And I think Saturday is going to be the day that they do get that win. It's not going to be a very easy game. It's going to be a very bitty game where it's not going to be in play for much time. It's going to be a really hard watch for the fans. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to the home side. Over to the Bet365 Stadium now, where Stoke take on Middlesbrough. Both these sides have been very much out of form. Obviously, Middlesbrough getting that win a couple of games ago against Southampton, which was a huge result for them, but losing again after that would have put a dampener on things. Like I say, both have 1 win in 5. Stoke are at home, so I think they're going to narrowly win the game. Obviously, Stoke's a very tough place to go, a famous place indeed. And I think that they will just grind out a result, 1-0 win. I think Stoke fans will be very happy with that one. Now on to our final game, where Swansea City host Blackburn at the Liberty Stadium. Now, I think this game's got draw written all over it, me personally. Obviously, Swansea getting that win last time out, but Blackburn drawing 3 in a row. Both sides are okay. You know, they're not really poor, but not fantastic sides by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here. I think both sides will take that going into the game, and it would mean a 4th draw on the bounce for Blackburn Rovers. I say, as for Swansea, another positive result for them would be, you know, good for their confidence. Just a quick one for me before we go anywhere. Huge shout out to Glimpse HC for the shout out on the latest video. If you haven't checked him out, he does all the top Hull City content. And like I say, make sure to like and subscribe and give some support from our channel.